Okay, let's get seated. All right, we're going to get started. Brian, are you okay? All right, Catherine, good? Yep. All right, good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, April 28th, 2026. This is a regular meeting of the Kings County Board of Supervisors. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs.
Here.
Richard Valley. Doug Verboon. Rusty Robinson.
Here.
Robert Thayer.
Here. Very good. At this time, I'd like to welcome Pastor Sylvia Gaston from Koinonia Church. Also want to say one little bit. I believe today is Tulare Sheriff Deputy Randy Hopert's funeral. Yes. And so we just want to let his family know that our thoughts and prayers are with them.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's a pleasure to be here, board members. If you would stand, bow your head. Could we just start with a moment of silence for them? Thank you, Lord. Let's bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you grateful for the privilege of serving this community. We ask that you fill this room with wisdom, that every decision made here today would reflect genuine care for the people of Kings County. Where there is disagreement, Lord, give us patience. Where there's complexity, give us wisdom. Where there's temptation toward personal interest, give us integrity. Remind each of us today that leadership is a gift held in trust, and that all the families, the vulnerable, the overlooked, and the flourishing all deserve to be seen and considered well. Prosper our county, my God. Your word in Psalm 133 reminds us how good and pleasant it is when people live together in unity, and may that be true of us today. I ask that you would bless each of the families represented here today, blessings of health and safety and prosperity. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Cal Rossi, you want to lead us in the flag salute?
Please join me in saluting our nation's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this time, we'll go on to item 2, which is unscheduled appearances. This is an opportunity for members of the public to address the board on items of interest within the board's jurisdiction and which are not already on the agenda. The board will not answer questions impromptu. Concerns or complaints will be referred to appropriate staff. For items which are on the agenda, members of the public will be provided with an opportunity to address the board as each item is brought up for discussion. Speakers should limit their comments to not more than 2 minutes. Madam Clerk?
Good morning. Yes, the board received correspondence from Laura Akers and Selena Ramos, and both of those will be part of the record. My first speaker card for unscheduled is Julio Godinez.
Okay. Julio, we out there? Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
Good. How's it going?
Good. So, good morning. My name is Julio Godinez. I'm a caregiver with SEIU, Local 2015. We take deep pride in caring for our recipients to ensure that they can age with dignity and lead fulfilling lives. I'm also here today to say it's time to make these care jobs better jobs. Those of us who provide quality and essential care to the communities around us need access to livable wages and adequate health care. That the way we're going to attract and retain the care workforce for Kings County. You, our Board of Supervisors, could be instrumental in shaping the future care if you're willing to invest in the people who uphold the care system in Kings County. Us, the caregivers, SEIU 2015. As my colleague said before me, we're living in very difficult times, economic times. Too many of us are struggling to provide for our families. Thank you, and may God bless you. Also, please don't prolong the contract negotiations. Let's reach a strong contract as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
The next speaker is Crystal Garcia.
Good morning, Crystal.
My name is Crystal Garcia, And I'm here with California Health Collaborative Soul Youth Program, which is a nonprofit organization that is committed to serving the underrepresented, underserved in our Kings County. And I'm just here today to share about our results that we had, our impact that we had with the young people in Kings County. On March 7th, we had our annual Kings County Youth Summit with over 100 students that attended the event. And we just wanted to share a little bit of the results and the impact that our communities are connecting with each other, gathering with each other. And I just wanted to share that one of our key elements in our program is we have Friday Night Live coalition programs, 3 chapters in Kings County, 1 Corcoran, 1 Avenal, and 1 countywide chapter. And every year they collaborate to make this event happen. Everything from young people, it's a youth-led event, everything from connecting with the workshop presenters to picking the theme to designing the T-shirt. And I just wanted to share a couple of those results with you today. Out of the surveys that we collected during the event, 75% of the participants reported they learned how to better support their mental wellness and overall well-being. 74% of our participants reported they gained new tools or resources to improve their well-being. And I just wanted to share with you that it's important to have youth-led events in our community because it gives the opportunity for young people to develop their leadership skills, connect with the leaders in our community, and become the leaders we want to see serving our Kings County in the future. And I just wanted to share a quote from one of our leaders that said, "I think it's important to have youth-led events because it shows that we are also capable of having an influence on others. It could inspire more youth to want to participate in these events in the future." Thank you for your time and your commitment to supporting our young people in Kings County.
Thank you. Thank you. Other speakers.
That's all the speakers that I have for unscheduled. I do have some for other items on the agenda.
Okay, real good. Anybody in the audience that would like to speak? Yep, Red.
Good morning. My name is Red Fidiasi. I'm a representative with Valley Voices. I would just like to inform the board we are hosting a candidate forum in Stratford at the elementary school May 7th at 6 p.m. hosting Board of Supervisors District 1 seats, District 22 Congress seats, and Senate District 16 seats. So you're all invited. Thank you.
Thank you for the update. Others in the audience? Anybody? No? Okay. In that case, we will move along. Oh, didn't see you, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning, supervisors. My name is Miguel Alatorre. I am the district commissioner of District 2 and also a part of the local group El Pueblo. And I just wanted to be here today to thank you guys so much that despite the 1289 legislature bill not moving forward, I did want to thank you guys for still moving forward the projects within Kettleman City. You guys know that these are projects that we've always advocated for, and thanks to Supervisor Valle for advocating for us and the rest of you for approving. We finally have some of those projects moving forward. So I just wanted to be here to thank you guys today that despite that legislature not passing, that we're still considering all the good things that should be coming to Kettleman City. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Okay, I miss anybody else? All right, then. We'll go on to item 3, which is approval of the minutes. For starters, report out of closed session from the regular meeting for April 14th, 2026.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There was no reportable action.
No report. Okay. We'll go on to item B, which is approval of the minutes from the regular meeting for April 14th, 2026. I'll entertain a motion. Supervisor Verboen. Supervisor Valley. Madam Clerk.
Joe Nevs.
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboen.
Yes.
Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Robert Thayer.
Yes.
We'll go on to consent calendar. Item C1 has been pulled. All items listed under the consent calendar are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion. If a member has questions, requests additional information, or wishes to comment on an item, the vote should not be taken until after questions have been addressed or comments made and the public has had an opportunity to comment on the consent calendar items. Are there any questions on the consent calendar? Do we have any questions from the audience? All right, I'll entertain a motion as amended.
As amended, Mr. Chair.
All right, Supervisor Neves, Supervisor Verboen, Madam Clerk?
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley, Doug Verboen, Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Robert Thayer.
Yes.
Okay, that's a whole lot of consent. All right. The regular agenda, item A, who's presenting? Curia? Consider approving the fiscal 2026 health insurance renewal. Who's? Morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. Sarah Poots, Risk Manager for the Administration Department. The Health Insurance Advisory Committee consists of voting representatives from each bargaining unit and unrepresented management. The committee votes on health insurance plan proposals that are then recommended to your board for approval. On April 2nd, the committee members met with our health insurance brokers, the Baldwin Group, to conduct an initial review of the plan options. Initial renewal options included a lower increase on fixed cost by changing the county's stop-loss deductible from $275,000 to $300,000 and $325,000. The renewal at this time came in at 21.4%. Additional discussions during this meeting included conversations about the IMED network and Pacific Eye Surgeons, which is previously King's Eye Center, no longer being a contracted provider. After reviewing the options and information presented, the committee requested additional time to allow the Baldwin Group to continue negotiating more favorable rates for the county and to also analyze the Vision Network usage. The committee reconvened on April 20th to review renewal proposals for the health insurance plan premiums for fiscal year 26-27. Baldwin presented an EPO option with a narrow network within Blue Shield and a higher deductible and out-of-pocket maximum that aimed at reducing employee premiums and self-insured claim costs. Ultimately, the committee voted not to implement an EPO plan for the coming year, citing limited savings and potential member confusion with a different provider network. The Baldwin Group was able to significantly reduce the rates from what was initially presented on April 2nd, and of the committee members that attended, the majority voted for the option presented to you today, which is 14.9% increase and no change to the stop-loss deductible or vision network. For fiscal year 26-27 and based on 1,198 enrolled employees, the employee contribution will be approximately $4.2 million, and the county's contribution will be approximately $16.8 million. During the Health Insurance Advisory Committee meeting, members requested the county investigate other plan structures and strategies that could result in reduced costs for future years. Administration will continue to work with the Baldwin Group to explore cost-saving options. As always, I want to thank the committee members for their time and contributions. They consistently bring forward alternative options, provide valuable feedback from employees, and ask thoughtful and challenging questions to ensure we are thoroughly exploring every opportunity to make the best possible plan for employees and their families. I would also like to acknowledge the hard work of the Baldwin Group in rising to meet the challenges presented by the county. At this time, we respectfully ask your board to approve the health insurance renewal rate for the fiscal year 26-27 with a 14.96% increase and the continuation of the wellness blood draw for eligible employees and dependents that currently includes a $50 incentive. And I have Leroy Tucker and Ashley Oana from the Baldwin Group here to help answer any questions you may have. And that concludes my presentation.
Real good. Thank you, Sarah. So I'm from the outside world, so I've seen increases like that over and over again. But what's the reason for the spike this year?
And I have Leroy
Yes,
take
sir.
that. He'll explain it much better than me.
But the reason you're a self-insured plan, so all of your rates are determined by how your claims activity occurs from year to year. And it was just a high year in your self-insured claims. And so when we forecast the upcoming year based on trend factors, inflation trend, and all that, and then we secure the fixed costs, which are administrative costs, the stop loss premium, as Sarah mentioned, we add that all together. Initially, it came out at 21%, and which was very high, and we just weren't accepting of that. So we pursued it quite a bit more, and and got those rates down to 14.9%, which is still high. But nonetheless, it's a lot better than 21, 22%. And so we were pleased with that.
And how were you able to get those rates down?
We there's several ways. I mean, we try to negotiate with the carrier for lower stop loss. We go lower stop loss premium. We go to the different vendors and try to get them to, maybe they've come in with a rate renewal and we get them to forego that. We just negotiate it, as you might expect. We maybe tighten the trend a little bit to where it's still reasonable, but it's a trend that might save a point or so. And so the combination of all those things end up helping us drive the rates down, and that's how we do it.
Okay, well, good. Any questions from the board? Supervisor Valley.
Morning, sir. So when you guys negotiate the rate increase, do you guys negotiate any other medications or services that you provide to the county? Is that at your level or is that at Blue Shield level?
Well, we usually take instruction from the county as far as negotiating different levels of benefits. But we realize that, you know, we have to have significant reserves that we always want to hold. We have to keep sufficient funds to maintain the clinic, which it seems like everyone really enjoys the clinic and gets a lot of value from that, and to keep the benefits high. And that's just something that we do but as far as negotiating new benefits or the like, we don't do that. We might look at other benefit plans, delivery systems. In other words, going from a fully self-insured plan, which you have,
well, let me
to
be
a
more
fully
specific.
insured plan or something like that.
Not interrupt, sir. I'm trying to save you time. So some employees have been vocal on the benefits of semaglutides for weight loss and to get healthier. Is that at your level or is that a whole different level? I don't understand.
Well, if they ultimately decide that they want those benefits, then we would go out and arrange for that. But it's existing cost arrangements that, because you have the Blue Shield network that you contract with, or the pharmacy network that you contract with.
And we did previously have a fiscal analysis presented to the committee on those medications, and there was not a vote to move forward with recommending them based on the fiscal impact it would create.
Thank you. That was probably about a year ago, right? Are you seeing any changes in that, sir, from your elevation?
Ashley, do you want to speak to that? Because yes, I want you to, because she's really involved in that.
Yeah, no, I'm interested for any employees who might be interested. Come on
exactly.
On the arguments or the study of semaglutides, even if you don't have diabetes or sleep apnea, it's just for weight loss to keep you from getting diabetes or having a heart attack or stroke due to weight. And I'm talking as a chubby person who's fond of this.
Well, we recognize the impact that semaglutides can have on comorbidities and bringing down, diabetes and high blood pressure and everything like that. The semaglutides on the market within the last 2-3 years have been all the specialty injectables, which, as you know, are very costly. And I think within maybe the next 12 months or so, we can do another analysis on semaglutides now that they've come out with pill form at a significantly reduced cost. So we'll have to take a look at that as more information becomes available with Navitus, your pharmacy benefit manager, and see if it's something that we can implement in the future. But we are very happy to see that trend of that, the cost of that drug and that whole drug classification coming down.
Thank you for that. But on as well as the cost, the other side, do you guys see studies on just the health benefits of
for the comorbidities?
Yes.
You're talking about, yeah, I mean, definitely. The thing about the semaglutide, which really needs to be factored in when you think about introducing it as a benefit, is that it's a lifetime drug. It's not something that you can take for 12 months to, lose 40 or 50 pounds and say, hey, that's it. When someone does get prescribed a GLP-1 and it's something that along with lifestyle changes will probably be very successful, but it's the longevity of the drug. It's something that you can't just take for 8 months or 12 months. It has to be ongoing. So that is a cost factor that needs to be acknowledged within that decision-making process.
Thank you, because when you look at, I just say celebrities instead of wealthy people. I just say celebrities. Most of them are skinny now because they have the money to buy it at the $1,000 a month for injections, per month. But, more folks and blue collar folks who make a good living still can't afford that. Like you said, maybe they could afford it for a year, get the weight down, but then they don't have the money just to keep taking it and keep taking it. And then you gain the weight back, as you mentioned. So, but I appreciate that. There is a population of county employees that I believe are interested in the benefits of that. And I understand the cost, but hopefully that could balance out later. Maybe that could be something.
The cost, hopefully in the next, like I said, 12 months to a year and a half, it becomes less cost prohibitive. And depending on, the fiscal situation at the next renewal, we can definitely look at what if we can fit that into the next benefit year.
Thank you. Thanks, sir. Thanks, Chair.
Real good. Supervisor Rubin.
So have we had an increase in the last couple of years on our insurance? I think we had a couple of years with no increase. Is that correct?
Last year, we actually went down. We had a decrease. And the year prior to that, I believe it was 13.35. And then the 2 years prior to that, there was no increase.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions from the board?
I do. Yeah.
Supervisor.
So if I'm doing my Conyer Elementary math correct, that's about a $2.5 million increase. Is that right? 15% roughly. I'll just roll with it. So sir,
To the county. No, sorry, you're correct. Yeah.
So as the self-insured, so these claims that are out there are high, and I'm just going to ask a question. Is it because of like local providers? I know there were some negotiations that were taking place between, Adventist and some others, and others were getting dropped. Is it a factor, or I don't even know if you can even share if it is. Is it?
I think that's a great question. You're part of a contracted group, the Blue Shield of California, which we've done studies on, and their claims costs are lower at this point than any other network, whether we go to Anthem Blue Cross or you name it, Aetna, any of them. I mean, and they're lower. We submitted a lot of claims to them, over 100 million, to 5 different carriers to reprice, and they came in lower than it. Anthem was close, but Blue Shield is low. And then on the pharmacy side, got you with this outstanding network that provides rebates back to the county. I mean, your total spend was just a little under $4 million in pharmacy claims alone. And I think that the rebates were $1.7 million, that came back from the drug companies to County of Kings. So it really offset the claims significantly. I played golf last week with the number 2 guy in Northern California, Blue Shield, California. And we went in and had lunch afterwards. And he said that, and he's down here because they've been banging heads with community hospitals trying to negotiate the contracts. They don't want to go as low as community wants, but they do this every 3 years when they renegotiate their contracts. And he said it's just amazing what's going on in our industry from the standpoint that he said 5 or 6 years ago, a big claim was over $1 million. He said now that same big claim is over $5 million. And he said you see 2 or 3 of those in a group, and he said it rocks your world. And when you're self-insured, and we look at the claims, and we've always, like you were talking about, what's been our rate history, it's been really good. I think we've had one other double-digit increase in 20 years. I mean, it's been really good, from no increases to 2 or 3% or whatever. But in these last few years, the increases, the claims, that's what drives the cost. And even if you weren't self-insured, if you were fully insured, And fully insured is determined, the rates are determined by the claims. So you can't get away from it. You know, it's going to be related to claims. And so I think that we just stay the course, you know, stay with Blue Shield. Don't try to do anything too weird by trying to go direct contracting or any of those kinds of things, but just, you know, let them do that and do the best job. And in reality, as you said, it's not uncommon to see a 14% increase. I mean, it's just been really crazy. So hopefully it will turn around. As I mentioned, your reserves are in good shape, so everything looks decent. You know,
Do you do you do you attribute that part of that increase, that number being a, you know, the CPI number in California versus if you take Blue Shield out of Oklahoma, what those kind of contracts like? Is there, does the pendulum swing heavily in the upward position just because the cost of doing business in California is so expensive these days?
I'm sure that has some impact on it, but I think it's just truly related to pure claims. I mean, we look at your claims and we see you've had some big ones this past year, but only 275,000 do you self-insure. Excess of that, it's insured. And but then the stop loss carrier, they come in and impose big increases if they're losing a lot of money because they don't want to do that. So yeah, I think there's other states, you know, that have good contract rates, but you're not going to get better than what, I mean, look at Blue Shield and Community Hospital. They've been at an impasse since the first of the year. So for 3 months, you know, 4 months, I mean, groups that have Blue Shield, especially in Fresno, you know, they're in a mess, you know, they're not having a contract that's being honored. And so hopefully that'll get settled. But the hospitals want to charge more, you know, and nothing negative about the hospitals. It's just that when you look at the claims, it's amazing. One of my best friends he's the chairman of the board of community hospitals, and we meet fairly frequently. And he just is constantly singing the blues about how they just can't charge enough, and the government doesn't reimburse enough, you know, for Medicare and Medi-Cal and those kind of things. So it's just a big problem. And I think don't like 14% increase, but to get away with that in the year where you've had high claims like you have, you know, we count our blessings to some regard, to some degree.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Are you,
Can I,
Supervisor, there's still, that's all.
can I add something too?
Please do.
So with the renewal and everything that we're looking at, the dominant factor in the increase is it stems from a really large claim that occurred at the end of last year, over $1.5 million. When your stop loss carrier sees that hit your claims experience, they say, wait, that's more than the county is paying us in premium. So we need to dig ourselves out of this hole. So the increase is, like I said, that fixed cost increase is being driven by that large claim, which has yet to be paid, actually. They see it. They see that the TPA is working on it. They're trying to reduce, they're auditing that claim because they're going line by line. With a bill that big, they're looking at every single charge to make sure it's valid, medically necessary, everything. So the stop loss carrier said, hey, hold on a second. We can't just give you you know, we need to make up for that big check that we're going to be writing. So we went out to, I want to say it was either 17 or 19 other stop loss carriers to try to get a favorable bid, and everyone declined to quote. And the reason why is because the current stop loss premium that is being paid for the deductible that you have, that 275,000, is actually under the national average per employee per month cost. So the increase that was given for this renewal year is actually more in line with what the rest of the nation is paying for that specific deductible. So your increase, the bulk of it, the largest part of that fixed cost is going to be your stop loss increase. It came in at over 40%.
Thank you. And then finally, and I don't know if you're a pharmacy expert on prescription drugs. So So I'm curious as to the validity of this statement, right? So you go to a pharmacy, doctor gives you a prescription. I show up to the pharmacy and they're like, well, here's your, $20 copay or whatever. And be like, I want to pay cash for this. And they're like, okay, it's $7. So the validity of that and why consumers are having put up with that nonsense, and why can't consumers just be given the best deal, whether to run it through your insurance or just pay cash out of your pocket for it? So can you speak on that, on what your experience has been?
Do you want to speak?
I don't know. Sorry.
Well, in this case, I think that it's not the consumer who's getting with the county plan, it's the county. The county is a beneficiary of what you're mentioning right there in terms of rebates. So you've got employees who are paying their $20 copay or whatever it is. You've got the county paying on the back end the cost of the ingredient, the drug. When the rebates and the coupons and all of that is being processed on a quarterly basis by Navitas, just like Leroy mentioned a few minutes ago, you're seeing the $1.7 million regularly every year come back to the county. So it is benefiting the consumer, the plan member, and the county in a roundabout way. It's just after the fact. The money that comes in forms of rebates right back into the health fund, that all has an impact on the renewal. We definitely take that into account. The trend factor that we apply on your prescription rebates is a lot lower than the national average because we have such a great deal going on with Navitas, such a great rebate program. It's phenomenal. I wish we could put all of our clients with it, but does that answer your question? It's kind of well, a lot of people say, you can show up at your doctor's office or even the emergency room and say, hey, I don't have insurance, and they're gonna, you pay a cash rate and it's gonna be different. And they do that for several reasons. For lower overhead. If you pay up front, point of sale, they don't have to mess with the billing, they don't have to go through any of the mailing and the record keeping, all of that.
It's just the mess of the whole medical thing across this country that, you don't get that if you go to In-N-Out Burger.
Oh, I won't pretend that it's not messy. I agree.
Right.
Yes.
So that's it. Thank you for.
Thank you.
Supervisor Valley.
Now, those are all good questions. I just want to say thank you for being here, especially for the employees. This is obviously an important vote. It's a necessary vote. And I think we're all learning a little something. For more education, I think you spoke a little bit about this, but what part of the chain of command would be the person? Like last week, I got a call. I don't remember where they said they were from, but a co-payment that I was being asked to pay for a procedure, $2,500, came up as a red flag on their end. And so I got the phone call, and they was asking me questions. Why are you being asked to pay $2,500 for this procedure? And it took her probably about 5 or 8 minutes, but she found that it was a simple code that my doctor had put in instead of a routine maintenance code.
It was diagnostic.
A diagnostic. So would that be your company or Blue Shield? Because that made me happy when I got that phone call. It answered a whole lot of questions that I was trying to get answered over the period of about a month.
So Sarah forwarded me that email. I think Sarah forwarded me that email to look into, and I connected with Compass Health, your third-party administrator, and they are so hands-on. I mean, they looked into that right away to find out, and I believe the person who called you was from Compass Health.
Okay.
And throughout the employee the committee meetings that we have throughout the year, and people know I've been part of part of this county family, and so has Leroy for a long time. If you have any issues at all, call me, email me. People have my cell phone number. My name's Ashley.
Thanks, Sarah.
You're welcome.
Good for employees to know too.
Glad to hear it turned out well.
Supervisor there.
Just one more question, Sarah. How much is the employee portion going on this? Is it? It depends on bargaining unit.
14.96%.
So it's across the board. So
Correct.
7.5%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other questions?
Retirees also.
Correct.
Anybody else on the board? Nope. How about from the audience? Do we have any questions from the audience?
I do have a speaker card, Mike Kazenza.
Okay. Good morning, Mike.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Mike Cosenza with COSIA. However, I'm here on behalf of every employee who is paying health insurance, not just my members, but every employee. I've been involved with this plan for over 12 years. I actually work with Leroy and Ashley in several other jurisdictions. The plan we have is a great plan. The clinic we have is a great clinic. It's a great benefit. Everybody should be using it. Not a lot of people are. They should be. This is one of the single highest increases this plan has ever seen, period. We had 13.35% a couple years ago. We did have a decrease last year. Again, it's based on claims experience. 14.96% this year. That's 27% over the last 4 years. And that's not split county and employee. That's 27% for everybody. So the employee pays the 14.9%. The county is paying 14.9%. For members of my units, the general unit, the supervisors unit, and even the blue collar unit, those are some of the lowest paid employees you guys have. The increase in the plan this year, the overall increase is equivalent to $1.70 an hour. And think about that when you're talking about your lowest paid employees. For our employees, it's 42 cents an hour for the family plan. So every employee that has the family plan is going to see 42 cents an hour taken away from them to pay for this health insurance. That's 2.5% of their salary for the lowest paid employees. It's true, the members of the general unit asked for, and the supervisor unit asked for alternatives. What, can we get an HMO? Is there something else? What else can we do? The employees are drowning in insurance debt here. It was too late. We were told it was too late to go searching, and we're always right up against that time limit, right? We get the claims at the end, and the next meeting you guys have to take your action. You guys do, however, have the authority to use some of the reserves to help pay down that 14.9%. And that's what I'm here to ask you guys to do, is to look into that and take some of that reserve and help soften the blow to some of these employees. You guys have that authority. You heard Leroy say that the reserve is fairly healthy. You guys can do that. I have to put out a newsletter to my members explaining this process and the action that you guys took. And I would love nothing more than to go back to my office and amend that letter to tell them that the Board of Supervisors jumped in and helped them soften that 14.9% blow that they're going to be facing next pay period. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Anybody else? Okay. Anybody online, Madam Clerk? Yep. All right, real good. I'll entertain a motion.
Just real, I'm sorry, I did have one.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if Carrie can answer it. Do you know what the balance is in that reserve account?
I don't have that information. I don't know if Sarah Poots does.
I do not have that information, but I can tell you that it changes on a monthly basis. So it's not actually a reserve, it's a health insurance fund. So whilst it might look healthy one month, we might have high claims, and then the following month it'll be a lot lower. So we didn't feel that was an option at the time to present to the committee.
Thank you, Sarah.
There's no more questions or comments. I move as presented.
Supervisor Verboen.
Second.
Supervisor Neves, Madam Clerk.
Joe Neves.
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboen.
Yes.
Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Robert Thayer.
Okay, real good.
Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. Thank you for answering our questions. Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Matthew Boyette, Assistant CEO, Kings County. Before your board this morning with 3 franchise agreements with our 3 current haulers here for waste hauling here in the county. So happy to be before your board. It's been a long road over the last, 2-3-ish years to get to this point, but we've been looking to implement Senate Bill 1383, where the state has come in and told us how we have to treat various pieces of our waste. And that's caused some pretty significant challenges in counties like ours, being, we don't have our own municipal trash service here. We're very rural, very spread out. So it's been a long road, a lot of different discussions, but long story short, the direction given was to go ahead and divide the county up into various franchise zones and then assign those zones to the 3 current haulers we have, which is going to be Waste Management, Thule/American, and Mid-Valley. So gone down that road, and recently, earlier in the year, have since amended our ordinance to align with that model, all simultaneously working through the actual franchise agreement process with our 3 haulers. So I'm very happy this morning to have those for your board for approval. So just want to give your board a little bit of idea as to what this looks like going forward. So if the agreements are approved this morning, the haulers have 180 days to implement everything that's in the agreement. So within those 180 days, they're going to be doing things such as, procuring necessary equipment, vehicles, carts, bins to roll out this kind of service. And so within that same amount of time, we're going to get together with the 3 of them and myself to figure out a certain messaging campaign or a notification campaign to all of our generators in the county. Because again, although the vast majority aren't going to really see a change in who their provider is, some will. So we want to make sure that everybody is, well aware of what to expect, the timing of everything. So that will also be happening here within the next 180 days. So, but with that, I just want to say to the 3 folks in here, we have the Mid-Valley folks, the Thule folks. I don't see the Waste. Oh, yes. Thank you very much for being here for the Waste Management folks there. They've been instrumental in really guiding this process. Without them, we wouldn't even be here today, because we as a county didn't even know where to start, because this isn't our wheelhouse. We don't have this service under our umbrella. So they really helped us guide the process and make well-informed decisions. So again, thank you all very much. And again, just big thanks on my side to Chuck Kinney and Troy Hummerding on the county side. They were kind of like my right hand and guiding this process along too. So many folks on the implementation team here today. So very happy to be here this morning. So with that concludes my presentation, and the recommendation that I have before your board this morning is to approve the agreements with Mid-Valley Disposal, Thule Trash Company, and USA Waste of California, which we know that's their it's Waste Management, for exclusive franchise of solid waste recycling and organic collection services effective April 28th, 2026 through June 30th, 2036. And that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
So Matt, just a quick summary. So originally we were looking at the free market system, but
Correct.
the free market system didn't seem to be very free market when nobody wanted to bid. Nobody wanted to bid because it was basically they were crisscrossing themselves and it was super inefficient. Is that accurate?
Correct.
Okay, real good.
Yeah.
So if we find, these are 10-year contracts, is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. And if we find someone's not performing during that time, what are the county's options?
We have options to intervene and make sure that there's compliance, both on the generator side and the hauler side, to make sure that everybody is in compliance with their responsibilities of SB 1383. And if either the parties are out of compliance, then we can deal with those accordingly.
Okay. Do we have questions from the board? Supervisor Valen.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. And that's a good question, Mr. Chair. But these haulers, they're not invisible people. They're in the communities. That they're good corporate neighbors. We have small towns. If for some reason something happens and your trash, a can didn't get picked up, or you forgot to put it out, or you just life got in the way and you forgot to put that trash out, in most cases, just make a simple call and we'll radio someone and come pick it up for you. It's not like the big cities. So, and they're here today, and I appreciate that. But going down the outline that you outlined, if you don't mind, Mr. Chair, I'd like to ask, before we go down another path, if anyone would like to come up and tell us, still going in this direction, what challenges the haulers would be facing, so we know today and that we don't get surprised again later down the road. So if any feedback anyone would like to give right now, that would be helpful.
Any haulers want to get up and speak?
Chairman, members of the board. My name is Jeff Martin. I'm with Thule Trash. This is my wife, Linda Martin. We're both owners in Thule Trash. Our area is to the south. We're the South County area. We're focused mainly on Corcoran, and then from the south and to the east, that'll be our franchise area. It'll be new, but it's nothing that we're not new to do something like this, to break up an area, or to sort of divide some of these areas up and to switch. It's more working with the customers and putting on the white gloves and dealing with everybody, making sure no balls get dropped. As some of the services, like in our area, Mid Valley has some containers and Waste has a couple containers. And so we'll be switching to where we'll have more efficient routes, where we'll be able to pick up those containers more efficiently, and just working with the customers through the other companies, which we've all worked together well. And we have a team already assembled that it's ready to go and handle those, and then make sure that we all have, the containers and the trucks and the ability to take care of it. A lot of these customers will be ramping up services. They'll be going from a single container up to a 3-container service. So it will be a little bit new to them. But like I said, we've done this a lot in many other areas. So it's nothing new. We have a lot of experience, and we're able to help and guide our customers to get them to doing the correct thing that the county's obligated to take care of. Can't think of much more. Do you have any more questions?
So food waste is now going to be put in with like the grass, the yard waste?
Yes. Everyone will get a green organics container, and so you'll be able to put organics matter in the container. And it's actually, it sounds very basic and simple, but there's a lot of things that those containers will accept. And there's a lot of we hear a lot of different things and a lot of stuff thrown at us, and really that is the best bang for the buck for recycling wise. I mean, think about this: is you can throw something in a container, it's going to go to a facility within 30 miles of here, it'll be recycled and be back out for use in the agriculture industry within 60 to 90 days. You take other containers, plastic, aluminum, stuff like that, more than likely it's going to get containerized. It's going to be shipped to the other side of the world to be processed and reused and sold back to us. So I really can't say enough good things about the green container and what it does. And it's really open to a lot of things. Once we learn and we get people thinking about it, of what it can accept, there's a lot of things that can go into it. And a lot of things that you can divert from that trash container can go in that green receptacle. But not plastic and not foam. Just put that down. No foam. No plastic and no foam.
Okay.
You can do a lot of things wrong, but don't do that. No foam in the blue and no foam in the green, especially the green. We will find you. We will find you.
We got it. Okay.
We
any other questions for this gentleman before we hear the next caller? All right. Next up.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, Chairman, Board of Supervisors, staff, Joseph Kalpikoff, owner of Mid Valley Disposal. I want to thank both Chuck and Kira and Matt for their hard work and learning something, that's not in the county's wheelhouse, and having to understand it and put a program together. The program that was put together is nothing new to the Central Valley. Kern has the same program. Your neighbors to the east and Tulare have the same program, and north to Fresno County has the same program. I think some of the highlights that Matt said is true. We're going to the education campaign and the noticing is really important. I think that's our first job as we get off the ground if these are approved today. Some of the changes, there will be new carts and new containers coming to the counties. Right, there's two different areas. There's a 1383 area which is requires 3 carts. It's a state program. There's some of the rural areas that only require a trash can and maybe a blue cart if they have a large enough bin. So I think the changes that you're going to see are just additional carts. So we're going to have to go out and procure trucks, carts, and bins to implement this.
Any questions?
Try not to be cynical, but I'm trying to be serious at the same point in time. I'm just curious to those who are here in this room and that are listening online. The SB 1383 passed years ago. A bunch of legislators up in Sacramento got together, thought this would be good, signed by the governor, put into place, and is now piled on the shoulders of all of our constituents in this county. And do you know just kind of an idea of what that one decision cost them, just as it relates to
The
food?
The state,
Yeah,
it's close to $15 billion of
15 billion that just landed
and a
or
couple
has
years
been
ago, but
landing
yeah,
on the shoulders of anyone.
an
that provides
unfunded
food.
mandate. That's
Yeah,
correct.
exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
unfunded mandate.
And do you, what are the chances we're going to reach this 50% reduction? How do you reduce your consumables food by 50%? Like, well, semaglutide would be a start, you know, if we can get that all on, maybe. Like, the reality is how do you,
No, then people don't clean their plate.
like, do we just start banning grocery stores? Like, we just need 50% grocery stores, so we'd have 50% consumable. Like, how does this even?
They're trying to cut 50% of the waste. The organic side, what we've seen for the 30 jurisdictions that we've already implemented is close to about 5 to 7%. We're going to see on the residential side. You know, the good thing that we've seen is that we have increased our organic collection. We've increased tonnage through our facilities, but that's coming back as compost and fertilizer to our farmers. It's kind of it's the process and the program we believe is a good program now that you can. We're an ag community. I mean, that Central Valley is all ag. And this compost that, you know, we're producing 70,000 tons a year of compost, and it's going right back in the fields right around us. I get the unfunded mandate, and it is expensive, but I think the program overall works well for our valley.
Yeah, and I just point that out because when folks, whether you're out in the county or you're in any of our cities, and you start seeing, you know, the cost of utility bills going up, like, this is, I mean, it's not your guys' fault. This is a Sacramento thing, but tipping fees out at our local transfer station and et cetera, like, these are those moments. I'm just trying to educate folks. These are those moments that make all of those numbers go up. As gradually as they may go up, they're going up. And it's not because this board got together and was like, hey, let's come up with this idea. And
no, this is all out of Sacramento. You're right.
So, all right, thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Other questions? Supervisor Neff?
Sure, yeah, I wasn't going to say anything, but it just kind of pisses me off, this whole thing. You know, the community service districts have stepped up and taken a lot of the billing and a lot of the problems away from the haulers. And they've been kind of cut out of the discussion. And so, you know, as far as I'm concerned, if I had that ability as a special district, we just get out of the business. I instituted that program 35 years ago in Stratford, and the community service district collects the money, passes it on to the haulers, does all of the bookkeeping part of it. 300 households in Stratford, a little more in Kettleman City, Armona, and Home Gardens. There's no incentive for the community service districts to do that if the county's going to run the contract. And so, you know, I've been a no on this process from the beginning. Joe and I have had this discussion. I've had that discussion with your dad before. There's no reason for a special district to even have that responsibility. We took it upon ourselves when the county didn't do that 35 years ago. And now they're wanting to get back in the business and take over this part of the operation. And those costs are going to go up, and the community service district is going to have to bear the responsibility for the consumers that don't pay the special district because they're collecting the money. So it's going to be a loss to the special district.
These contracts don't include the special districts. There's special districts that have their own contracts with other haulers. And
try to get somebody else in there with this with your monopoly. You're not going to allow anybody else into your area.
they're franchise zones for efficiency. That's why
The special district is part of those zones.
Matt, the special districts are not included in this. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. So all of our
How do you get another hauler into that exclusive monopoly that you're creating?
the zones that we created for the purpose of these agreements here exclude the incorporated cities and exclude the CSDs because they're all responsible as far as 1383 goes. They're all responsible for their own thing. So we don't have jurisdiction over them in implementing SB 1383. So whatever comes of the franchise agreements this morning, those individual jurisdictions can procure services from whomever they can procure services from. Now, how easy or difficult that is, I can't speak to that, but
Yeah, no, it's gonna be extremely difficult. Because you're not gonna have some other hauler coming into that exclusive area and then, because that's the anchor part of those routes. You go into a community service district and pick up 12 cans to the block. You might have to go 12 miles to pick up 12 consumers in the rural area. So those exclusive zones are tied together. And, and I just think the county's making a huge mistake going in this route. And I'm going to continue to vote no against it. 4-1. I understand that.
Anybody else? Okay. Well, any questions from the audience at this point? No. All right. Hello. Welcome.
Good morning. My name is Joanna Chavez. I'm the WM Recycling Education Representative. I'm a little bit new to the Central Valley, but nevertheless, I'm learning the lay of the land really quickly. One of the challenges that I can say personally from being out in the field working with our customers is, regardless of how big or small the change is, there's always a little bit of hesitancy. I think that all the haulers can agree that we've had immense educational material behind us that we've created, that we've delivered to our customers. It's going to be a challenge in the beginning, but that's really where it's up to us to make sure that we're continuously reminding the benefits, that it is, a new thing for everyone going all around. But nevertheless, me directly, whenever our customers have any questions or concerns, I go to the site, I provide education, and then I follow up as well.
Very good question. Supervisor Rubin.
So I don't have a question, but I have a comment. So when this came out, I thought this was a bunch of BS, unfunded mandate, putting it on us, and how dare the state do this to us. But now we're the last franchise to get this done in the state of California. Am I correct? Yep. So it's been implemented for like 3 years, I believe. And so I have a center in Lemoore, which has trash is a big deal. I pick up trash 3 days, 4 days a week. And I have a pizza shop. I have sandwich shop. I have Starbucks. And it was nonstop picking up pizza dough, coffee grind, everything. And I've noticed a big increase or decrease in trash pickup because everything goes in a special bin. So we're not picking up pizza dough and pizza sauce and coffee grinds and leftover sandwich meats and stuff like that. It's cleaned up my facility and it's taken less time to keep it clean. So I do appreciate it now. I don't like it, but it's just common sense that you shouldn't put your food waste with your plastic or your cardboard. And so we had people doing that. So it's a rule put in place to get people to do the right thing.
And creating habits is the biggest thing. It's just we have to be consistent. It's hard. Sometimes I'm visiting the same sites over and over again, but it's helping them create a habit to where it's a simplified system for everyone. It's a huge benefit for them. And as soon as they realize that benefit, they'll start being more cooperative with.
Right. And I've noticed that. I've seen it, and it was a slow in coming, but nothing worse than going out there on a rainy day because the city has cited you because you got too much food waste on the ground. You're picking up pizza dough in a rainstorm along with the cardboard. So I don't have to do that anymore. So I appreciate it. And with that, I'm going to make a motion to vote and approve this as presented.
Supervisor Verboen, do I have a second?
Mr. Chairman, I second with just the last comment of regardless of how the haulers got the contracts, and I do want to thank all three of them for, again, they're at all the community events, they give back, they're always donating to something, they're in parades, and so we appreciate. I know I appreciate all that, and that's my second, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, and Supervisor Verboen has a comment?
Yeah, so I mean, for the individual home, it's not a big deal. I know for myself, I had 2 big German Shepherds, 130 pounds, 150 pounds. There was no food waste in my house. Since they passed, there's a little bit of food waste, but now I have another dog. So it's not that big a deal. But when you have restaurants that have to throw out their food at night, it's a problem. And this only covers the county part of it. So we can live with this. I think we can make it work. It's too bad that it had to come to this because people don't do the right thing with their trash. But yeah, that's my comments.
All right, so it's Supervisor Verboen's motion, Supervisor Valley's second. Madam Clerk?
Joe Nevs.
No.
Richard Valley. Doug Verboen. Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Robert Thayer.
Yes.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, haulers. We appreciate it. Thank you. Sorry the process took so long. Thank you. Morning, Unchum.
Good morning, Chairman and members of the board. Unchung Perry, Deputy County Executive Officer, Kings County Administration. Before you today is a study session on the 2027 Active Transportation Program grant application for the Kettleman City Pedestrian Bridge Project. Through a continued effort of a supervisor valet, to improve the pedestrian safety across State Route 41, connecting the east and west side of Kettleman City, have developed into a vital infrastructure project for the community. In 2021 and 2022, the Public Works came to your board to receive funding approval to accept the total funding of $8 million of SB 170 funding. SB 170 funding is a state funding that focuses on infrastructure improvement, especially in disadvantaged communities. Working with the supervisory district and state assembly member Rudy Salazar, the county was able to secure that total $8 million funding of SB 170. Since then, the consultant was onboarded and they have been working on the design of the project and right-of-way process. The current estimated total project cost is about at $12.9 million. Of that, $2 million is for the design and right-of-way, and $10.9 million for the construction and construction-related cost. So there's a funding gap of approximately $4.9 million. The ATP grant that we're discussing today is intended to close that funding gap of $4.9 million. The county is in a strong position to compete for this ATP grant in the medium infrastructure category, which the funding is from $3.5 million to $10 million projects. In addition, the project is also about 90% completed with the design, which allows us to apply for construction-only funding. Importantly, it is also well aligned with the priority of ATP guideline that improves the pedestrian safety in disadvantaged community. The project is also included in the Kings County 2022 County Regional Transportation Plan. As part of the application, the staff will be performing 2 community meetings to gather input and also strengthen the application. The application is due in June 22nd, 2026. The initial award of the funding is expected to be November 2026, with a final award of the grant in June 2027 through California Transportation Commission. That concludes my presentation, and I'm available to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
So you said 13.9 million to the total?
The total project right now is about close to 30 million, to be exact, 12.9 as of today.
Gotcha. And I realize that there's kids on the other side of the bridge. How many kids are we talking about?
So according to my estimate, maybe Public Works here to maybe add on additional information, but my information, there's about 40 homes with 10 businesses on the east side.
So 40 homes, but really this is the case for the children getting to school. Is that correct?
Correct. And we've done recently, the Public Work performed the pedestrian counts in April 14, 15, 4 days, 3 days weekday, 1 weekend. The average number was about at 55 crossing a day on a weekday, about 19 to 20 on a Saturday. That was completed throughout the whole 24 hours.
And do we know how many students?
I'm sorry?
Do we know how many of those are students?
Students?
That are
No, I
crossing?
do not. I do not have that information.
I think originally the figure, you correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't it like 15 students?
I don't remember the figure. I mean, I've been out there. I'll save my comments because it's your time, but I mean, I've been out there and taking video and seeing the traffic and the danger to it.
I think it could be the majority of them are students, especially the high numbers were in the morning, somewhere between like 6:30 to 8:30, and then there's some numbers between 11 to 1 o'clock, and then there's the biggest number in the afternoon, somewhere between 2:30 to like 3:30, 4 o'clock. So I'm assuming that's predominantly students crossing the road.
Yeah, I got in 2021, there was 260 students total in Kettleman and 18 lived across the street.
18 in 2021. And we've had this conversation over and over and over again. And so we have explored different options. I know I brought up before underpasses like they have at Ismo, because those are a lot cheaper. Go ahead.
Public Works, I believe, spoke to intensively with the Caltrans, looking at other options, for example, roundabout. But apparently, obviously, the state route is a Caltrans jurisdiction, and they will be the one who picking the location of where they should be. If the county requests the project through county at Standard Oil Avenue, which is where this bridge will be located, the funding may have to be supported by the Kings County rather than state funding, because their, I guess, a preferred location would be the other street, General Petroleum. And not only that, after talking to them, it will be possibly more costly due to the fact that needing to acquire right-of-ways in all four direction at the location. So, and maybe Public Works can add detail, but the underground, it did not meet the safety factor out of comparison to bridge and roundabout. So the underground would have been the least safe method out of three options.
And the reason the price went up is because Caltrans needed it higher. Is that what happened?
I can speak to some of that too, Mr. Chair, when you're ready.
Okay.
But I do want Public Works up here too. I mean,
Mitchell, you want to answer that?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Mitchell Cabrera, Chief Engineer with the Public Works Department, and I also have Patricio Villegas, Engineer 3, who's kind of helping me take the lead on this project. A couple of items regarding the undercrossing that was brought as an option before the board when this project initially kicked off. There were a couple of concerns, first regarding Caltrans and construction of that alternative. I remember the sheriffs also had an issue with safety. So we did look at different alternatives, and ultimately the pedestrian bridge was the safest and most effective way to remove the pedestrian from the crossing and having the least impact construction-wise. There's just a lot more work with an undercrossing, dealing with the soil, the structure that's going to go over. You're going to have to place a new road over that. It's a lot more work than just designing a bridge and going over.
What about simple options like stop signs, flashing lights, those things? The beacons?
Way past that conversation.
I hear you. But they're all components of this.
Yeah, ultimately, the safest way to alleviate a pedestrian-related issue, collision on State Route 41, is removing the pedestrian from that equation. The only way to do that is through a pedestrian bridge or an undercrossing. You can have stops. You can put as much lights, signs you want out there. Ultimately, driver error, not paying attention, you would still run into those issues. So to say that those options weren't considered would not be true.
Okay.
That's where you start. Signage, immediate countermeasures that would help. Then you get to more drastic measures, an undercrossing, a pedestrian bridge. The roundabout wasn't considered as an alternative. The roundabout is completely Caltrans. The original conception of the bridge was to go over General Petroleum. Caltrans has plans to essentially do a roundabout there in the future. So the location was moved to Standard Oil. Standard Oil is a more central road in the community connecting the west to the east side. So that's where it's at in design. Originally, in some of the meetings we had with Caltrans, clearance was determined based off of documentation that Caltrans had, the difference between an expressway and a conventional highway. That required the structure to ultimately go up, I believe, almost 2 feet in height. So your supporting foundations on both sides of that structure have to get redesigned for that new and required clearance by Caltrans.
Questions from Supervisor Bell?
Yeah, first of all, Mr. Chair, I want to thank you for coming to Kettleman City a month ago. And I know you haven't been able to get your support on any votes to the bridge, but that's okay because you show me that you're open-minded on and you are compassionate to Kettleman. That I won't let anyone say that about you. But I will say this, because I could feel the frustration from the board, and you only want to get into my frustration. I'm not happy with this presentation. I think this presentation should have been more detailing to the board all the frustrations that we've been through. January 1, when we kicked off this year, I said, I want to face to my bridge. I want to face to this issue. We've had department head changes in Public Works. No one's keeping track of this. Everything's going good, getting past obstacles with some of the board, getting their support, moving forward. I'm reporting. I had 3 town halls in Kettleman City last year. We've had the last one in December. We presented the community. The PowerPoint, the consultant team was there. The engineering team was there. About 12 Caltrans officials were there in Kettleman at the town hall. Miguel and I were there, translation. We had everything. End of the year, good. And then one day, a couple months ago, after a board meeting, I get called in and I get told we're $4 million over the bridge. Okay, so thanks to Kyria taking the lead, Chuck Kenny inserted himself, and we've had a lot of Zoom meetings. And when I say I'm not happy with the presentation, I wanted the board to be answered instead of questions, because I feel like the questions take us back 2 years in the conversation when the board should be told everything we went through with Caltrans. Anyone who was on Zoom meetings with Caltrans, they'll know I've been very aggressive with them. Our staff had to step up to learn the reasonings of why this bridge went up $4 million is disgusting. To hear how much money and I'm gonna say hard-earned money, because I was the one going back and forth to Sacramento to get this money. Okay, to bring the money back and be able to tell my colleagues, can I have your support now for the bridge? Because now it's not going to cost the county anything. To see that we've spent almost 2 million of the 8 million that I went and got, thanks to the help of some of them really solids, spent on engineering and planning, and then on the bridge, and then to have Caltrans come out and say, come back and tell us, nope, we need to redefine the bridge. Instead of the bridge being like this, it needs to be like this. So now we're on Zoom meetings all this year with them and asking, why the hell does the bridge have to be that way? Because the state is not, or Caltrans is not being all the way transparent with you, me, or the community of Kettleman City on what the hell they want to do with Highway 41. But the redesign of this bridge comes to plans that they have with Highway 41. It's never about slowing down the traffic in Kettleman. It's always about speeding up the traffic through Kettleman, the speed limits in the future, and redefining the Highway 41 super highway. And all of this, Supervisor, one thing I learned is Kyria and Chuck and Mitchell, and I do appreciate you. Well, we just asked Caltrans point blank, is there any way where we could go back to square one? The original plan of the bridge, it will save us money. We could get this bridge done. but they won't do it. And it comes down, if I understood right, a small number of trucks in the future that when they redefine Highway 41, there's certain routes and Caltrans paints it like the routes are limited on where these trucks could come from. And they want to send these trucks down Highway 41. And so because of these limited trucks that will come, the bridge has to be higher. So then we learn that when you take the bridge this way higher, now you add more staircases, right, to engineer to get up. And those staircases are the bulk of this cost. And then when you start talking tariffs and you start talking inflation, and now we're 4 million over. So after a whole lot of back and forth with Caltrans, the best place we are at, and I'm still not happy about it, but Caltrans says, apply for this grant and we'll be as supportive as we can. Well, Avenel is applying for this same grant right now. They're holding community meetings that you have to do, and like Kerry and Mitchell saying, we will hold in Kettleman because you need to say that you held these meetings, and Miguel stands ready to help too, and to get the community there so we can have these meetings and get them on the record. This is a best case scenario because Caltrans will not reverse the decision. And now we have to spend more money to have our architects and engineer go back and redesign this bridge. Well, so I asked Caltrans, will you guys cover the cost of that? No. You get on with some of their staff and it's almost like us against them, and it shouldn't be that way. The legislature said, build this damn bridge. They funded the money and we need to get it done. And people keep getting in the way of this bridge. I'm sitting here 18 years and I want this freaking bridge done before I get voted out of office or before I retire. And this bridge is going to freaking get done one way or the other. I don't want no more gaps and freaking surprises on this bridge. Get this freaking bridge done. I hope to have the support that we can move forward on this grant. Let's go over there. Let's do what we got to do. But we also still need to be aggressive with Caltrans and try to figure this thing out. We should be walking that bridge already. God permitting the day doesn't come that a kid gets run over. Because when we sat here, Kerry, I wish we had all the letters of support that we had from Highway Patrol, Kings County Sheriff deputies, people that work in our library, Kings County firefighters, all who said not one kid has been hit by a car, but they've seen 1,000 almost hits. And when that day comes, if a kid gets killed out there or ran over by a diesel, there's going to be hell to pay for that. So let's get this thing done. I hope to have support from the board so we can move forward. And sorry for my attitude on this thing. I know we spent a lot of time, and thank you again, Kira, for helping us even get to this point. But I feel like even after this, there's going to be another challenge. And that's what I'm frustrated about. I don't want to lose support of the board on this bridge. And it's not just about the students. It's about connecting the community together. The state divided that community. Any wealthy neighborhood that you go to, or not scratch that, any modern neighborhood that gets built in the suburbs of Fresno or any Clovis, the one thing they promote to get you to buy a house there is this is a walkable community. All right. And that's just a neighborhood, but it's a neighborhood where you can park your car, walk to get groceries, walk to a theater, walk to entertainment, walk to healthcare, walk to a library, walk to a school, a walkable community. And Kettleman needs to be a walkable community. If you build the bridge, neighbors can gather, take a walk. We're talking about health, the prices of health insurance and premiums. Damn it, it's 98% Latino community and the rate of diabetes in that community. All we need, that bridge will also be a way for people to exercise, take a walk, become a walkable community. And we're going to see that day. When we're going to see that day soon. And we better have a groundbreaking ceremony by the end of this year. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Okay.
Supervisor Valley, thank you. All right, Madam CEO.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have a few comments. I just wanted to kind of acknowledge our public works staff and thank them for all their work they have done. There has been a lot of transition with the public works director, and unfortunately, it wasn't any of their fault in the miscommunication back and forth with Caltrans or any of the communication that happened. The reason why we are here today is because clearly we're at 90% design, so it is there. Once you're at that percent design. I've learned so much about engineering, by the way, working on this bridge. It's ready for construction. And so, yeah, there is a shortfall and there is a grant that's going to be applied for. We did request our consultant who engineered the bridge if they would be willing to help with it, but it would cost the county about $50,000. I praise our staff for stepping in, and then engineer staff, Ang Chung, Alex, for writing this application because like Supervisor Valley said, it is competitive. We will be needing to request authority from the board. All these actions are going to come to your board in the near future. And so we want to be transparent and show the board we have a shortfall. We're applying for this grant. All these action items will come to your board in the future, but we just wanted to make sure that we're transparent. The board is fully aware of where we're at in this position. Yes, it is unfortunate that there is a shortfall, but Caltrans has let us know that this is a good project. So we need to make sure that we also have partnerships with Caltrans because ultimately they are the funders. And so we just wanted to bring it forward and to again, just wanted to reiterate thanking our public works staff. They did the PED counts. We're going to do the outreach, everything we need to get to make sure that we are successful in this grant. Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions, comments? Supervisor.
So my question, I'm going to use Joe here for his knowledge. So we sit on Kings County Association of Governments with the Transportation Committee, and we do the APP grants all the time. So are you going to utilize Terry King and her staff, or are you just going to do it on your own? Because I think KCAG is underutilized. We have our retreat coming on Thursday and Friday in Merced. We go to Sacramento several times a year, plus Washington, D.C. So it's something that Terry King can help facilitate as well. Isn't that correct, Joe?
Yeah, and I was even thinking if you want to better utilize those funds, get one of those little just buses and just put a route and move it, because you could have an electric vehicle there. For the 187 days you got school and the other days that you're running across to go to the store, if you had a driver and a little transport bus that we use in the city of Hanford, because they have no mileage, but they're good for 250 miles a day, 200 on a hot day, 250 on a cooler day, just because of the weight and the air conditioning and keeping the batteries cool. So I would wonder if you couldn't, instead of utilizing that grant to take care of the budget shortfall, to purchase a vehicle and start trying an inner city route bus there with an electric bus. And then you're going to have a driver and you're going to have to run it through CART. But it would be kind of interesting, especially with the clinics there. The clinics are on the other side. And so a lot of the clinics are about $1.50 a mile. And I don't think there's any of them that's much more than a mile. So you're probably talking $1.50 a ride. And it would be kind of interesting to be innovative and try electric vehicle out there and just see if we can't transport those 50 people in a day. I don't know how many hours that is, if that's from 7:30 in the morning till 3:30 in the afternoon. Because Kettleman City is only a K-8. Then all those students have to be bused to Avenal for high school. And so you have that student population as well. They're a combined school district, but they don't have a high school in Kettleman City. So the buses are there. That would be the other concept, is to see if we couldn't, throw a little bit of money towards the Reef Sunset School District and have the bus route run that. That way it picks up the school kids. But that's only probably half of the population that goes through there. Or half or 2/3 are not school-age people. They're residents that live on that side of the road and they want to go to the store. And so that would be my two suggestions, if we could kind of help out Reef Sunset and do that with the student population, but then also try to go ahead and do a cart route in there and try to increase the population into, because that right now they service Kettleman City twice, once in the morning, once in the evening. And that has been expanded a little bit more also, because I think even in Stratford, we got a noonday route now. So it would be interesting to try to make a route into that community.
Okay, thank
So,
you.
yeah, and so we don't utilize KCAG enough for the
Correct.
funds. We sat on a conference call on Friday, and all these other counties are getting all these funds, lobbied for, and we don't have any projects. So, I asked the city of Lemoore and Avenel and Hanford, to utilize Terry King and her staff, because it's another vehicle, another avenue to get things out there. And so, like, a month ago, I had lunch with Tokes and Lori Wilson, which is on appropriation committee for Caltrans, talking about all these projects that we're working on here in King County. So you got to be visible and aware of what's going on when things just get kicked down the road. So
unfortunately, as a county, we only receive about $5 million a year. And like the overcrossing at 19th Avenue and Lemoore, that was a $27 million project. And so we have to pay for that over time. Right. So even though projects are being done in other counties, it's because they have more money than right. And so we just do not have enough. We've always tried to be frugal and save money to be able to establish some of these, just like the 9 1/4, 9 1/2 project over here on 198. Caltrans came back with a $144 million project, and that's going to be pretty much the same footprint that 19th Avenue overcrossing is in Hanford, there by the Monday sale. That is just ridiculous. So to try to keep pushing projects when they inflate so more that you just can't afford them, I think we really need to start looking at electric vehicles that have, again, shorter mileage. I don't want to run that little bus all the way into Hanford, but I think if we could get grant funding and could get a bus there and could get a driver there, might be a good option.
you saying that Supervisor Valley should be riding the short bus?
Or driving the short.
Driving the short.
Yeah, not
like
riding,
that.
driving.
I feel like doing that now. Yes, Supervisor.
Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate Stephen, as I can tell his comments are coming from a place of concern and the out of the box thinking that he's good at. But we know that this money came out of the bill, and the bill says the money has to be built for the pedestrian bridge. Right. And yes, sir. Yes, sir. If we go the route that your suggestion, sir, then it takes away from I think what staff's trying to help with is that going to get this grant and then using it towards the bridge means that I don't have to come back to you guys and ask you for help to make the budget of the bridge complete. And so that's the only good news that I took into this. And again, it comes from Caltrans. I don't know if Victor has an update, but I was about to talk about his boss. No, in a good way. In a good way.
Let him finish, Freak.
Yeah. In a good way is that I did call her and I said, I voiced with her my frustrations at Caltrans when I learned about this. And I said, what do we do? The board might get frustrated one day and say, send the money back. And she said, please don't do that. One, it would be an embarrassment. And two, it goes against every argument that Assemblyman Rudy Salas makes, Congressman Valadale makes, when they say there's needs here in the valley. And to give money back to the state would just take away all that argument. I'll shut up for now. I think Victor's got something.
Coach, you have something to say? Oh, I'm sorry. Today it's Representative.
No, happy to be here. Victor Severn Jr. with the Office of Senator Melissa Hurtado. I think you're perfectly right, Supervisor Valley. Assemblymember Salas fought hard for this money when he was in the legislature, and so it's one of those things that the senator has worked to champion hundreds of millions of dollars back to the valley over her 8 years in office, and so it's one of those things that we're always willing to help with this grant project. Obviously, write a letter of support as needed. Through budget requests, ask to work to try to secure additional funds, especially with the budget process currently happening. It's something that we can take into our office and have a conversation about as well. But one of the biggest things that I wanted to come here today and talk about right now is I hear the difficulties with Caltrans, and while we don't directly work with them. We have worked with them in partnership with the Stratford project that they're considering right now, the Armona overpass, the flooding issue. And so our office contacted them and got them to the table and worked to get those items resolved. So it's one of those things that I'm a tireless advocate for Kings County under Senator Hurtado. And so if I need to call Caltrans and be the bad guy, please let me be the bad guy in that scenario.
On the next.
For sure, please. I hate to say it, but it seems sometimes a lot of conversations change when the legislature is involved and watching in on the process. So please, we're always willing to sit down in one of those calls and participate as needed. So thank you.
Mr. Chair, I do want to.
Yes, sir.
I do, while Senator Tato's rep is at the podium.
Sure.
I do want to say thank you to the senator because although I haven't made it a hard ask yet, she did say through her experience and where she's built herself up on some of the leadership levels, she sits on some important committees, and she did offer to take a look at getting the money to close this gap and get this bridge built. But I would rather not at this point put that pressure on her shoulders, because I know what that feels like. If we could go after this grant, and if it fills the gap 100%, then we just move forward. But I do appreciate that, and if the board votes down today, I'll be calling her and asking for her help.
It's just a study session, but
Yeah. But Mr. Chair, the last thing is Caltrans said there's more than enough of these funds to go around. And I do believe it'd be appropriate too if the county wrote a letter in support for the city of Abnell for their grant. And I did talk to city manager about this about 2 months ago, and he's happy to write a letter of support for our grant as well. And I think that would just be helpful. There's more than enough.
Yeah,
It's not really competitive.
this is KCAG. This is what they do. Yeah, and you got to utilize it. Then, well, we don't even need that committee anymore.
That's the staff.
Well, the mayor's on the committee with us if he shows up, but this is what we do. We audit in our community constantly. And if there's no project that that's been brought to us, we can't support.
Supervisor there.
Yeah, just one question. So is this grants going through if we did it through KCAG, can they throw an inflator into it to, when you go projected break ground date would be this date? Kind of. It's just a suggestion. Well, because you hate to go, yeah, we approved a grant and now you're only $3.5 million behind. And I throw this out there. I think it's just a matter of time before KC becomes, the potential to be a commuter town itself. That I never thought Los Banos would grow the size that they have, and all up and down that Interstate 5 corridor that the people are fleeing these high northern and southern California prices. You're 90 minutes to the Central Coast from Kettleman, or 90 minutes to Kern County, and you're 90 minutes, level less back up to Fresno and then the Bay Area. So I think it's just a matter of time before. And you watch that'll be the next one. That side of the county is going to start getting populated. You see it in Madera as well. Their numbers are out in Kings County for growth in the county, and it's just a matter of time.
Well, I think if you add in the broadband capabilities, because a lot of people are looking for those environments, and they can work at home if they have the connectability. And I think that grant is going to help a lot of that interoperability in some of these smaller communities that never had high-speed internet connections. And so I think you're absolutely right. The potential of those communities growing now because the technology has helped them grow.
Other questions, comments? Yeah, my 2 cents on it has always been the same. First starters, though, I want to just say, Supervisor Valley, you've worked tirelessly on this, and I know your love of Kettleman City, and my hat's off to you for that. I do like what Supervisor Verboen and Supervisor Neves are talking about in terms of the transit option. I've just said from day one, too much for too few. I mean, when we're talking about almost $13 million for a small group of people. That's a heck of a lot of money for them. But if there's other options, and that seems like a potential viable option, and that would be something that I would be interested in. Okay,
Those little buses are 250 grand.
each of the buses are 250.
Plus you got to charge them. So
I know where we can find 250 next Tuesday. I know where there's a reserve of a couple $1 million. Public Finance Authority money, and we just buy that cash on the barrel. You want to do that?
You all want to do that? We'll look into that. Okay, we'll look at it.
Then I appreciate them, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I would ask the board that in light of all the work that Curia and everyone has done to get to this point, and we did build a bridge with Caltrans to, be supportive, and they point us this direction. I'd ask that we go after this money. Let's see if we just can't close it, and maybe even get 100% financing on it. But and one day I am going to have your support on this bridge, because when it's built, and when we walk over that bridge that glorious morning coming soon, you're going to be right there in the front with us. I know you are. You're going to be holding the hands of some small children, boys and girls.
There's a visual.
And taking them safely over Highway 41. And we're going to be on Facebook Live doing that together.
When you retire, you can be a lobbyist. All right. Enough comment with this. Are there any questions from the audience? Comments? Yes, sir.
I just have to come up and thank again Supervisor Valle for working tirelessly for us. But I did want to also mention the point that Supervisors Verbuna and Neves did. So I'm also a part of the Unidos Network as the executive director, as a part of my day job. And one of the things that we've been looking at is piloting electric vehicle programs. And this is another reason why we need that bridge, is we actually do have free electric vehicle chargers that are provided by Caltrans at level 3 charging speeds. But you have to go leave your car, and then you have to cross back into Kettleman walking so that you can leave your car to charge. And you need a bridge to do that, because there's times where, cars are not respecting that stop, and they'll just blow by. Even if you press the lights, they blow by it and they don't really respect them. And so I think the bridge would go a long way. But I think electric vehicles are definitely the future, and having a benefit like that would be great. We did apply for some CARB grants in the area for some local rideshare programs that we're trying to pilot and implement there. So would love to be in those conversations for how we could forward the electric vehicle infrastructure there in town. But I would second what Supervisor said, and that bringing in the bridge is an essential thing to our community. I know it's a few people, but we're just as important as some of those richer areas where, bridges are built for less. And so I hope that you guys keep it in your consideration, and you guys all keep working towards the benefit of Kettleman, which you have for many years. So thank you again for the time to speak.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Staff have proper direction? No comment?
It's a study session, Mr. Chairman, so no action is
We're not
needed.
going to vote, I know.
Correct.
Yep. All right.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks to staff for all your hard work. Okay, so next up is a public hearing. Chuck? Oh. We're past 10. Yeah.
Okay. Good morning, Chairman and Supervisors of the Board. My name is Sheila Hernandez, planner with the Community Development Agency, here to present a Land Conservation Williams Act contract modification in relation to a lot line adjustment number 2502. Lot line adjustment number 2502 will adjust the boundary lines between two existing parcels, one that is under the Williams Act contract and one that is not. A condition of approval for lot line adjustment number 2502 is a contract modification by rescission of the Williams Act Land Conservation Contract number 661, and simultaneously enter into a new Williams Act Land Contract Conservation number 2103, located within Agriculture Preserve number 263 with the board approval. The current contract is 196.58 acres, and the new contract to be entered into will also be 196.58 acres with no increase in acreage. The agriculture acreage and production will remain the same, resulting in no significant change under the revised contract. This lot line adjustment was approved by the Kings County Community Development Agency on October 16, 2025, subject to the modification of the Williams Act contract. Staff recommendations are conduct a public hearing on the rescission of a Williamson Act land conservation contract and simultaneously entering into a new Williamson Act land conservation contract in relation to lot line adjustment number 2502. Find that the rescission of a Williamson Act land conservation contract and simultaneously entering into a new Williamson Act land conservation contract is categorically exempt from environmental review pursuant to California Environmental Quality Act guidelines, Section 15317, and none of the circumstances in Section 15300.2 apply. Number 3, adopt a resolution to resign Williams Act land conservation contract number 661 and simultaneously enter into a new Williams Act land conservation contract number 2103. That concludes my presentation, and I can answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for Shu?
The only question I have is it's regular Williamson Act or the super? Is it a 10-year contract or 20?
10-year.
It's a 10-year.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Any comments from the audience? We're good?
Thank you.
Madam Council, can we take the three at one time?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, you will open the public hearing, and I recommend you take these one at a time.
One at a time.
Yes.
Okay. Public hearing is now open. I'll entertain a motion on item A1A, conduct a public hearing on the rescission of a Williamson Act land conservation contract and simultaneously entering into a Williamson Act land conservation contract in relation to lot line adjustment number 25-02. I'll entertain a motion.
So
Supervisor Thayer, Supervisor Verboen, Madam Clerk.
Joe Nevs.
Yes.
Richard Valley is not in his chair. Doug Verboen.
Yes.
Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Robert Thayer.
Yes.
Okay, next up, item 1B, find that the rescission of a Williamson Act land conservation contract and simultaneously entering into a new Williamson Act land conservation contract is categorically exempt from environmental review pursuant to California Environmental Quality Act guidelines, Section 15317, and none of the circumstances in Section 15300.2 apply. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Supervisor Thayer.
Second.
Supervisor Verboen, Madam Clerk.
Joe Nevs.
yes.
Doug Verboen.
Yes.
Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Robert Thayer.
Yes.
Okay. Item A1C, adopt a resolution to rescind Williamson Act land conservation contract number 661 and simultaneously enter into a new Williamson Act land conservation contract number 2103. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Supervisor Thayer, Supervisor Verboen, Madam Clerk.
Joe Nevs.
Yes.
Richard Valley. Doug Verboen.
Yes.
Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Robert Thayer.
Yes.
And if you could close the public hearing.
Okay, public hearing is now closed. All right. Let's see, next up is public forum, and who's going to present, Kyria or Giselle?
So be me.
Giselle, hello.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Giselle Coy, Administrative Analyst, Kings County Administration. Before your board this morning is the public forum required under California Assembly Bill 2792, Transparent Review of Unjust Transfers and Holds Act, which will be referred to as the Truth Act. The purpose of this forum is to provide transparency regarding interactions between local law enforcement and federal immigration authorities and to allow members of the public an opportunity to provide comment. The Truth Act was signed into law in 2016 and requires local law enforcement agencies in California to provide certain information and procedural protections to individuals in custody when federal immigration authorities request access to them. Under the law, before an interview can take place between Immigration and Customs Enforcement and an individual in custody, the individual must first be provided with a written consent form explaining the purpose of the interview, that participation in the interview is voluntary, and that the individual has the right to decline the interview. The consent forms must also be available in several specified languages. The law also requires that if local law enforcement agency provides Immigration and Customs Enforcement with notification of an individual's release date and time, that same notification must be provided to the individual and to their attorney or designated representative. In addition, the Truth Act requires that records related to federal immigration access be made available to the public upon request with personally identifiable information appropriately redacted. Beginning January 1st, 2018, the law requires that the governing body of any county or city where a local law enforcement agency has provided immigration and customs enforcement with access to an individual during the previous year hold at least one public community forum in the following year. The forum must be open to the public, held in an accessible location, and noticed at least 30 days in advance. The purpose of the forum is to share information about immigration and customs enforcement access and to receive and consider public comment. Notice of this meeting was published in the Hanford Sentinel on March 18, 2026. Detentions, Assistant Sheriff Travis Day from the Sheriff's Office will be reporting the data regarding the number of individuals to whom Immigration and Customs Enforcement was provided access during the reporting period. At the conclusion of Assistant Sheriff Day's report, the public forum will be open to receive comments from members of the community regarding this matter. Thank you.
Welcome, Travis.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. Travis Day, Assistant Sheriff, Kings County Sheriff's Office, here on behalf of Sheriff Dave Putnam for the SB 54 2025 statistics. In accordance with the California Values Act, this memorandum serves as the annual report to the Board of Supervisors regarding our department's interactions with federal immigration authorities. For the 2025 calendar year, the Sheriff's Office maintained full compliance with all state mandates, ensuring that local resources were not used for federal immigration enforcement except where explicitly permitted by law to protect public safety. In 2025, the Sheriff's Office facilitated the transfer of 2 individuals to the custody of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Every transfer was conducted strictly within the legal framework provided by Government Code 7282.5. SB 54 generally prohibits local law enforcement from assisting in immigration enforcement. However, it allows for the transfer of individuals who have been convicted of specific serious or violent crimes. These 2 transfers conducted last year were based on the following statutory criteria. The two transfers fell under 1192.7 C and or 667.5 C. To ensure the rights of all individuals in our custody were respected, the following protocols were strictly enforced during these 2 instances. Pursuant to the Truth Act, each individual was provided a copy of the ICE detainer request and a written notification of the Sheriff's Office intent to comply with the transfer. No ICE interviews were permitted within our facilities without the individual first providing informed written consent. These figures have been submitted to the California Department of Justice for the state's public database as required by law. The Sheriff's Office remains dedicated to a public safety first model that respects state law. The 2 individuals transferred in 2025 represent a specific subset of the population whose criminal histories reached the threshold for federal notification. This approach ensures we maintain the trust of our entire community while focusing local resources on local safety. And that concludes my report.
Thank you for that. Of course. Any questions, comments from supervisors? Supervisor Thayer?
Yeah, just one question. You said 2.
2.
And then, I mean, I don't know. Do you recall, like prior to 2014, what those numbers would have been? How many?
I can tell you how many requests we received for 2025, and that was 49.
So 49 fell into the okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Nope. In the audience. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. I appreciate your report, and given that it was only 2 individuals, I guess the question here would be if what was reported actually reflects what we're seeing on the ground, and does this include individuals who were picked up at county courthouses, not already detained in your jails? Because what we're seeing on the ground, I'm not acting as Valley Voices Civic Engagement Program Director. I'm acting as an immigrant advocate. And as part of the Valley Watch Network, we have received various reports that we have verified of individuals getting picked up at the Kings County Superior Court before they were actually able to enter into their court hearings to be able to attend their court hearing and go through the process of due process, right? So does this reflect those individuals? Because we received more. So I just would like a little bit of clarity on what.
Sure. So the two that were transferred were from sheriff's office custody. So they originated from a carceral setting inside the jail.
Okay, and so then, how is it then that, no, if you don't have that answer.
Just so we're clear, just please limit these comments because,
Okay.
because there's not, I don't always allow a back and forth. So
Okay.
let's make this the last. Go ahead.
Thank you. So the final question would just be, how then would immigration's agent get information that an individual would be at the courthouse to attend their court hearing?
I can't speak to that.
Okay, great.
Okay.
I got just a question.
Right. Thank you. Supervisor there.
Not a question, just kind of a comment. That I'll answer some of those questions for you. That it's public knowledge of it's online databases. It's printed in a lot of media reports that Hanford Sentinel used to print people who come into custody. But I say this to people, and I say it with all due respect, because it's not, to me, this isn't, I'm not trying to make this any kind of a political issue. But when California became a sanctuary state, SB 54, they entered in the Leader of the Truth Act. The state forced ICE into our communities. We used to transfer them over when I worked at the sheriff's office, very peaceful. And most people never had that problem. But now they're in our communities. And that's what bugs me, because your community doesn't deserve to have that. They might target one person, but take 10. And when they were in custody, they only got the one. That's all they cared about. I throw that out. But yeah, they're probably right here at the courthouse. I've heard the same thing, but it's a matter of public record. You go on the county, not the county, you can go onto the state court website and see who's arraigned, who has pretrial conferences, who's coming up next. And if they want them, they're going to target them. And if they don't get them there, they're going to go into the community and set up on them at the workplace. We see it across the national news every day. And that's what was supposed to be a good thing has scared our communities and put them in frightening circumstances. Just my opinion.
Supervisor Bell.
Mr. Chairman, just a little house clean. I mean, moving forward, everyone can take advantage of agenda items like this. This is a public forum to receive public comment, but the chair is right. Just ask your questions to the chair, always through the chair. And then if the gentleman wants to answer, it's better than going that way. And then that way, it was your time and you're here for us to hear your public comment. You talk all you want and ask all your questions, just send them to the chair. Thank you. I don't want anyone to think that they couldn't ask questions.
Thank you. Officer, you have anything to add?
I do not. Thank you, Chairman.
Bill, yeah, Madam CEO.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to, I was reading some of the letters that did come in, and I just wanted to clarify that this is an actual law that took effect in 2016, and it is a requirement. I'll actually just read it directly from the law that beginning January 1st of 2018, the local governing body of any county, city or county in which local law enforcement has provided ICE access to individual during last year shall hold at least one community forum during the following year. So it's just an annual thing that we are required to do. It's not that we are trying to highlight an issue or anything of that nature. It's just a requirement of the law, and we take this annually. Usually it comes to the sheriff's office, but administration has been one leading forward with the agenda item, just because it's just the nature of who has the assignment that year.
Great. And because it's a public forum, no action item required, right? Madam Counsel?
No action item is required. Correct.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you for that. So we'll move on to board member comments. Supervisor Neves.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Time goes back over 2 weeks. Continued out softball at Lemoore High on April 15th. Had a meeting with the Lemoore High School class of 64 through 68. They're combining their individual classes and on April 16th, and talked about the all-class reunion. They're going to meet in the morning, all-class reunions in the evening, so everything will work out good. Continue to attend the American Legion breakfast
Spoke at Stratford School on Legacy Day, and that was on April 17th. My grandparents attended one-room school in Stratford in the 1920s. My parents attended the 8-room brick building in the 1940s. Kathy and I attended the current campus in the 1960s, as well as our kids attended that same campus during the 80s. And the important part of that is just to talk about school and for students to make good decisions, to be, no matter what they want to be, do it with respect, do it with honor, and be the best you can be. So it was a real good morning at Stratford Elementary. Attended the high school spring fling in Lemoore Civic on the 18th. Probably the only thing I brought home was an extra 3 or 4 pounds, but other than that, it was all right. Kings County Sheriff's Office Explorers had their autism awareness on the 21st. It was a rainy lunch at Raising Cane's, but it was a good day to have chicken. Attended the Kings Symphony Gala on the 21st at the Kings Country Club. Well attended and great food. Administrative Professional Day breakfast was held here in the office. Want to thank all of the staff for a wonderful breakfast and all the hard work they do. We also on April 22nd had Housing Authority meeting, and then I came back over to Hanford Post-Acute, had a ribbon cutting on the 22nd, and then LAFCO had a meeting on the 22nd. We formally opened up the public hearing for the budget process for the 2026-27. That public hearing has remained open and will hopefully be able to put that budget to rest next month. Continue to announce softball on the 22nd at Lemoore High. American Legion breakfast again on the 24th. Attended the Kings United Way Power of the Purse event at Hanford Civic on the 24th. That event had delicious food, great speakers, and fantastic gifts. Sarah Mooney had ice cream on the 25th, which worked out extremely well, except for my budget contact as far as my calories. Because that night, the Lemoore FFA dinner was held in Stratford, and it was a wet but pleasant evening under the pavilion with good music, food, and auction items to support the Lemoore FFA. Community breakfast took place on the 27th on yesterday, and the Reestablished Stratford Group received $5,000 as a result of being the recipient. Kings County Behavioral Health Advisory Board had a retreat yesterday. I was late because I stayed at the breakfast way too long. And Victor, you didn't get the Disneyland ticket, sorry. But we'll keep it in mind for next time. And then the Paul Leffler was a speaker at the Carnegie Museum last night, a great speaker talking about honor flight and everything that they've done, the 34 trips, as well as planning a 35th, and hopefully another one if they can scrape up a $250,000 to be able to do that, to be able to get some of the, there's still a few World War II guys around, but they're moving more into the Korean and Vietnam and some of the other, the whole idea was just to get the World War II going. So with that, thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thanks, Supervisor Neves. Always lots of work. You can take a nap January 1st.
I don't have any trouble sleeping.
All right, Supervisor Thayer.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, back, I don't know how long ago it was, 15th. We were closed last week. Attended another S2J2 meeting. That's about the, building out a 4-county infrastructure for power, solar, whatnot. They put on a nice presentation that just dealt with major infrastructure. There's a lot of crickets in the room. I think because, builders or contractors that would be otherwise interested in moving forward on something like that or watching the goalposts be moved in other areas of the state from state policy. And so it's just kind of sitting there, but still attending it. Also that same evening, attended the Kings Community Action Executive Board meeting. A lot of great information that gets passed along there. And then the next day, Commission on Aging. And then Saturday, the 18th, attended the first annual gala for the Golden Positivity which if you recall, Emily Carpenter was my Woman of the Year, passed away from childhood cancer. It was a black tie affair, and I was really impressed. Well, Doug was my date. Thank you for going. I bought a table, and he was well taken care of, and was just impressed with the number of people that were supported to it. Mayor Matthews was there too. I'm not sure if anybody else out here in the audience was there, but anyway, it was impressive. Had a great table. A couple of our county folks here, one of them is a childhood cancer survivor herself. I hope that when we bring that resolution to honor the month of September for childhood cancer awareness, I hope that she gets the opportunity to come here and speak. But she and her husband and a couple others from the county were at our table, and it was just a wonderful event. And then Monday, the 20th, attended the homelessness collaborative. This time it was nice that Supervisor Robinson ensured that the chief of Hanford PD and the HART team sergeant was there, and a lot of good information passed along there. And it's just such a slow process helping to impact this. And then Tuesday, the 21st, I announced this before, but I actually attended the event. That it was the Kings County Excellence in Education dinner, followed by an award ceremony. Dinner was at the Civic Auditorium. The award ceremony was across the street at the Fox Theater. It incorporated every school district in Kings County, and just very well put together. And my brother-in-law, Tim Price, second grade teacher out at Kings River Hardwick, taught out there for about 28 years. Was this year's recipient, at least from Kings River Hardwick, and that's how I got my tickets. And then that following Wednesday, attended the Housing Authority meeting, and then also helping the local constituent with a health department issue regarding a food cart, and didn't know that kind of stuff could be so complicated, but thank you. Lots of complications with it, allegedly, but we'll see if we can get some resolution to it. And then traveled to Los Angeles this weekend to see our grandson, and then just happened to be, if you watch American Idol, you get to see the bald guy near the front of the stage watching these competitors. I was actually, sadly, Joe, and I can relate. The cameraman had me move because of the glare off of my head. And I'm a little upset about that, but
Yeah, there's some black paint you can just paint on there, and it makes it less shiny.
I was a little offended, but I'll move past it, and then I'll be fine. And then I just throw this out there that I know earlier we discussed the health thing, and maybe about the county insurance policy, and maybe it would be good to have a study session or an overview on what that account looks like, those reserves in that account, what the high years numbers have been, what the low years the numbers have been, just to give information to this board of whether we can consider thwarting off some of these increases. And just throw this out, the last meeting, I think it was the last meeting we had, we pushed $6 million towards a certain area, and this is that thing where I said we don't know what we don't know, and bam, here we are with a 15% increase to health for this county, and we don't know what we don't know. And just throw that out there, not meaning that to be any offense towards anything, but there is a tsunami. I project this, I hope I'm wrong. I think there is a tsunami of impacts that are going to come across this state like we haven't seen before, through whether it be health insurance premiums and all other kinds of premiums, and the impacts back into our constituents for rising fuel costs and power and whatnot. Sigma, we still haven't even seen what the ramifications of what this is going to do to our poor economy that is primarily ag-related. And I just throw that out there that we, as a community, as boards, as city councils, and all the other collaborative approaches we have, need to just be mindful that fattening of hatches may occur, and we still don't know what these impacts are going to be. You just mentioned it. I think the 9th Avenue Bridge is going to cost twice as much as the 19th, 4 times as much. So I don't know. I was a cop for 35 years, and if you ever watch Scooby-Doo, we call that a clue. of to come. And
You got brownies with that.
I do. And milk. But that's just that. I'll digress and pass it along. But thank you, Mr. Chair.
No, hey, thanks for being concise. I'm officially depressed now.
Well,
Supervisor Valley,
well,
yes, sir.
One, just to kind of go back to that, when Kerry is looking all of those facts and figures up, there was also some premium holidays that was utilized to be able to draw down some of those reserves. And so the county, I think, has been very efficient in its delivery to staff, and we've always looked out for that. And the insurance advisory group has done an outstanding job of that. Sometimes, retirees did not have the opportunity to take advantage of that premium holiday, but all active employees did. So when you start talking about that, and I understand Michael did an excellent job of what the impacts are to individuals on an hourly basis. I can say the same thing about gas. I can say the same thing about all kinds of insurances. So, but I think for full transparency, we probably should talk about the positive things the county does, and that's part of those premium holidays.
Thank you. I feel a little better. Supervisor Valley.
Hopefully that gets it put in his newsletter.
Probably not.
Thank you, Monsieur. Don't feel bad about the lighting. This lighting is not good either. No. I'm saying
solar panel, man.
There's times where I dye my hair black the night before, and then you watch the YouTube video, and this light will still show the gray through the black dye. Can we do something about that, Carrie? Carrie's not even paying attention to us. She's doing things light years away from today's meeting. She's 20 steps ahead of us. Mr. Chairman, two things I want to report on. One on April 16th, part of the Latino Caucus, which we're an umbrella under CSAC. Our Latino Caucus traveled for 2 days to Palo Alto, and we were there. Graham was with us. He was with us for 2 days. One of the things that we were able to do was there's a company over there called Gen and Tech. You guys heard of them? Mm-hmm. I've never heard of them until we got there, and we spent a day at their campus, which is amazing campus of land there on the bay. We heard from a lot of smart people, and I probably only retained a half of 1.45% of what I heard, because these are scientists, man, and what they're doing. I'm gonna read it. Genentech is a pioneering biotechnology company, and they focus on developing medicines for serious life-threatening diseases using advanced technologies like recombinant, and I probably didn't even pronounce that right, DNA and AI-driven R&D. And so what I took out of it was hearing these scientists talk about, they get a molecule and the process, and we're looking at labs and watching these scientists work, and they take that molecule, and once they figure out a way to create a medicine, and a lot of the focus was on breast cancer, and then be able to get FDA approval, and they talked a lot about all the steps and how much money that costs and the challenges to save lives. But when they're able to invent something from a molecule and then they start mass producing, I don't know how they do it, but they take that molecule and they start building up all this protein and filling them up. And then they send all this protein to the next level where they take that protein to put into medicines, right? And but we heard from one scientist, she was born in Mexico, and about the age of 7, her family relocated to the Bay Area. She went through a lot of education, became a scientist, and she gave us a presentation on how she was one of the inventors of a drug that saves lives, a lot of women's lives in breast cancer. And, she talked about being so happy to finally to do that. And then she ended up getting diagnosed with breast cancer. And she's still fighting today and working. And She told our caucus that very soon there's another drug that she was part of the team to invent that is going to, in her words, save a lot of more women's lives at a higher rate with this medicine-identified aggressive breast cancer. So that and a lot of other things they do. But one thing I did take away from seeing all of them smart people and listening to all the presentations, they summed it up by saying the medicines that we invent, create, and develop here are medicines you will never hope to never have to take in your life. But if the day comes where you need their medicine or a family member needs it, you're going to be happy they're there. And I know I'm glad they're there because they're up there. I mean, these intelligent people they're working hard every day for the betterment of human life. So it was time well spent. And so then coming back from that, the only other thing of importance I want to report on was last week. I was brought to my attention by an Avenel city official that there was an issue with their water. I guess the main water line had broke, and they switched over to their old water line. And so the water that was coming out of the tap and households was still safe to drink, still safe to shower in. No problems with any of that. But it was trickling out, and that's what residents had told me, that it was trickling out. And so I went down there on my own time and my own personal resources on Wednesday and took 3 pallets of water to the community. A friend let me borrow his truck and trailer, and I actually had to pay him $100 and put 100 in his gas tank, but he let me borrow his truck and trailer. And Walmart, local Walmart, donated 1 pallet. I purchased the other 2, and we drove out there and to the fire station. Thanks, Chief Chamberlain, for allowing us to use your driveway. And by the time I got there, I went on Facebook Live from Walmart and told people in Avenel, I'm leaving Hanford. When you show up here, you're going to have 3 cases of water. These are 40 packs of water, 48 cases per pallet. And when I pulled up into Avenel, the cars were lined up. Like anyone who's been part of Operation Gobble, you see the line of cars. The lines were there, ready to go. People were in an orderly fashion, and we gave away that water quick. Walmart got word, and I learned they have a disaster relief facility. I think it's out of Arizona because that's where they were calling from. And they offered to send a truckload of Walmart bottled water. It was 19 pallets of water. The way they do it, just for full transparency, it's not like a campaign contribution to Richard Valley or I influenced anyone. They send the language that it's an in-kind donation, and in Arizona they keep Walmart trucks full of water to be able to send out. So in this case, they wanted to help with that. I did call the mayor of Avenel and asked him that I could be helpful if he wanted to. He said yes, and we worked together, and he helped with some resources of city employees to help logistically very quickly get the water out the next morning. And Reef Sunset, I want to thank them for sending out some of their employees. Moving all that water is heavy, it's workout. And so we had a lot of manpower between them, Kings County firefighters who showed up and helped get that water out. The community was very appreciative of the water, and that water went quick. We had hundreds of cars in line, and I'm glad we were able to do it because I texted a couple of officials. Lupe Chavez, who works for City Avenel, I asked for an update, and I texted Councilman Verdugo for an update. And it sounds like today they're flushing out the main line. It's been repaired. They're flushing it out, and sometime today they hope to have everything back to normal. But the city just wanted to conserve water. Again, the water was good to drink, still is, as far as I know. They wanted the residents to conserve, so I figured with Walmart's help and drinking bottled water instead of out of the tap, then hopefully that helped them in a small way reach some of their conservation goals and get through this and everything back to normal.
Real good, real good. I think the last CSAC meeting.
Thank you, Walmart.
Thank you to Walmart. I think the last CSAC meeting I went to, we stopped by the Latino caucus, and when I walked to the bar, first thing they told me was no ice. And that's not a joke. That was the very first thing Nathan Alonso told us at the bar.
He said there's no ice.
No ice.
I wasn't there.
Yeah. All right, Supervisor Verboen, sorry.
Not much more to add. Same thing. Thank you, Supervisor Thayer, for inviting me to the Golden Positivity. That was a great event. Learned a lot that night. There were a lot of great speakers that were extremely young that had to deal with some serious circumstances that I thought spoke very well. So thank you for letting me be part of that. Not much more to add other than I went to the Gears workshop put on by the State Water Resource Control Board, and I helped people fill out some of their paperwork when it came to registering their wells and identifying their wells and also how much water they use. So we got through that day, and then that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Let's see, Wednesday, April 15th, I attended the Brown Act training with several staff. Supervisor Verboen might have been there too. Thursday, April 16th, I was in my happy place. I gave the seventh graders at Hanford Christian School a tour of downtown Hanford. We got to go to the Carnegie Museum, so thanks to Jack Schwartz for that. Also, thanks to Mark Kairos, Mayor Kairos, and Vice Mayor Nancy House. They were great. They gave the kids a little kind of a mock demonstration of how city council works, and the kids got to go on the dais. It was a lot of fun. Kids loved it. They got out of school that day. Monday night, I attended the Sons of Liberty Forum to watch Garrett Gilcrease, Martin Chavez, and Stephanie Silvera define themselves and their candidacy for District 1 race. Tuesday, 21st, received a tour of the library with Curia. Thanks to Del Lefkowitz for all of her knowledge. Wednesday, 22nd, attended Housing Authority Supervisors. And then Thursday, met Supervisor Valley and Avenel to hand out water to the residents after their main line broke and they were put on water rations. So I just wanted to send the message to the people of Avenel that county cares. And we, in spite of everything going on, county cares about the residents. Turn on your mic, please.
Just got a text from council member Ricardo Verdugo out of Avenel, that Assemblywoman Alexandra Macedo. Apparently she worked with CVS. They sent a lot of money, a lot of water. And today at the Avenel Recreation Center at 2:30 p.m., the city is giving away 1 case per family today.
Real good. So real good. All right. Let's see. Sunday, 26th, attended Barbara Peters Memorial Service at Dowd's residence. So our thoughts and prayers go out to the Peters family. Barbara will be missed. And then yesterday, gave a presentation to the Sons of Liberty on the state of the county. Thanks to Adam Medeiros, Larry Faria, allowing me to participate. And also thanks to staff. There were a lot of help in setting up the presentation. Appreciate that. Last couple of weeks have been busy. Unusually busy because just a lot of calls and random things. I schizophrenic, everything from skunks to possums to road work, stop signs, zoning. It was something, but it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot. All right, Madam CEO.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have a staff update right now from Marie Waite, Child Support Director.
Hello, Marie.
Good morning, Marie Waite, Director of Child Support Services. I'm here at the podium to introduce my new Assistant Director, Sean Edwards, and he has a few words to say.
Morning, Sean.
Morning. I am excited to begin this role at Kings County as of yesterday as the Assistant Director of Child Support Services. I bring about 21 years of leadership experience in both the public and private sector, last 14 years in the public sector for Tulare County, Sacramento County, and now Kings County. So hoping to combine all that knowledge experience to serve our great community here. Thank you.
Very good. Welcome to Kings County.
Thank you.
So for upcoming agenda items, the following agenda items are for May 12th. There is no board meeting next week due to the county barbecue. Administration has 5 items. A study session regarding some recommendations for some grand jury meeting stipend amounts. We had spoken earlier this year that we were going to do a research on where we are landing with average counties on the meeting stipends. And so that will come forward at the next meeting, approving an issuance of revenue bond notes for a residential care facility for seniors for Cal PFA, claims for damages, a resolution proclaiming May 18th as International Museum Day, And appointment to the Kings County Library Advisory Board. Ag has one item regarding an agreement with California Crop Improvement Association of Counties Assistance with Seed Certification Program. Behavioral Health has one item on a resolution to proclaim May 2026 as Mental Health Awareness Month and Maternal Mental Health Month. Child Support has three items: an intra-county plan of cooperation with Public Works, agreement with some consultants, and some agreements with Green Court Legal Technologies. Community Development has one item on monthly reporting of Planning Commission actions. Health has one item regarding application with Vitamin Angels for prenatal vitamin distribution program. Information Technology has two items: an agreement for some annual support for their operations and some information technology policies for countywide adoption. Probation has three items: an MOU with Kings County Job Training Office, an MOU with Day Reporting Center, and electronic monitoring program renewal. Public Works has two items and a sublease agreement with Mental Health Systems for Children Behavioral Health Services, and Chip Rock traffic paint purchase. Sheriff has one item on the Viper phone and power supply systems. And lastly, I actually read my agenda items before I did board correspondence, so I'm going to go back. So the board received correspondence because my list is really long. We have a lot going on. So for board correspondence, the board received a second motion to approve distribution of proceeds for a memorandum of points and authorities and support from the attorneys for the receiver, Lance Miller, in the case of Federal Ag Mortgage Corporation versus Simi Brothers. The board received hazardous material release report from the Health Department on April 27th regarding an incident that occurred on April 24th on Highway 198 and 43 where there was a spill of diesel fuel. The board received a public notice on April 16th from the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District regarding a notice of public hearing for their fiscal year 26-27 budget. The board lastly received correspondence from Laura Akers on April 27th regarding the in-home supportive services contract negotiations. For upcoming events, the Kings County Public Health will host its blood drive tomorrow, Wednesday 29th, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. here on campus. You can sign up online or walk-ups are available. There's a lot of giveaways that they give with this program now. So employees are encouraged to attend. Kings County Board of Supervisors will host its 2026 Employee Appreciation Barbecue next week, Tuesday, May 5th, for all our county employees. This event will take place in our courtyard in front of the flagpoles here on campus. And lastly, the Behavioral Health Department will host its Survivor of Suicide Law Support Group next Wednesday, May 6th, from 5:30 to 7:30 here on site. That concludes my report. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Take a breath. Madam Council.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The board has three items on for closed session today. Item 1, conference with labor negotiators, all units. Item 2, a conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, City of Avenal v. County of Kings, related to fire services. Item 3, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, City of Avenal v. County of Kings, related to the recall election. Please note for item 3, this will also include discussion regarding the recent appeal to the 5th District Court of Appeals, case number F091517. With that, I will turn it to you for public comment.
Okay. Do we have any public comment at this time? Very good. We're going to adjourn into closed session at this time, 11:23.